So this is the SSP Spelling Piano app. SSP for speech sound picks, not systematic synthetic phonics. This app is £5, £4.90, whatever it is, and that's a one-off payment, and that's for iPads and Android tablets. So it's a tablet app because obviously you couldn't fit all of this onto for a phone. Okay, so you could use the videos. There's just a few videos to show 2-minute monsters and the cloud poems, which show all of the spelling choices for all of the English speech sounds. We've got play. So how we teach within Speech Sound Picks approach is there are 4 code levels to kickstart the learning to read and spell process. So the phonics element is just one element of the healthy reading growth, if you like. So we've got SATPIN, SAT, put it in. So we've got those 6 graphemes mapping with those 6 speech sounds. So what we want to do is we want to both play the words. So what's that word? Tap.
Tap. Tap. Tap.
Let me just turn that up a little bit. Okay. So what they're doing here is this is one of our visual prompts. So these are all made up of SAT, put it in. There are no surprises, just the target graphemes. Here, the children are able to play the speech sounds. So if they've got poor phonemic awareness, we're doing it for them. So they know where every sound, the sound is going to sit, and they can play it back to, so if they've got working memory issues, again, not a problem. But they have to spell it in the right order.
Spin. Spin. Spin.
So it's not just checking what they know, it's actually teaching them. So so even if they've got poor phonemic awareness, poor working memory, they can't blend the sounds together, it's doing it for them. So please see this as their teacher, and they can do it independently. Now they can also use the keyboard to change it to the monsters. So she's patting the dolphin, and these monsters have their own speech sound. So these wouldn't be necessary if English orthography was transparent. At the beginning stages, you might think, what do they need the monsters for? But as you start to have, like, here's monster, and as you start to think about other spelling choices, whether it's psychology, so the PS is the sound picture for the S, or you know, science, where the SC and the CE are representations for this. So if English orthography was transparent, and we just had that the sound S mapped with an S, that would be fine. We wouldn't need the monsters. But what these are doing is helping the children to have a visual. It's helping the children who can't speak to have something they can use to tell us the sounds they can't produce. But what we're really doing is setting it up so that in future, when they look at a word they're not sure of, because they don't know that code yet, or it's not code that is used within the kickstart phase, they can just follow the monster sound, say the word, they can see the graphemes because of the code mapping, and they can figure out the word. So if they had the word science, they would see science, they would see it code mapped with the letters. They don't know what the SC represents or the CE represents, let's say. And science might not be a word that springs to mind straight away when they try and think about different combinations of what they do know. So if the monster was there on the SC, if the monster was there on the CE, they would know straight away, okay, so science. Then they would do what I call trap back, say, oh, okay, so the SC is a new grapheme for the sound that I didn't know before. So that's what we're setting this up for. And I'm still showing it.
Pat. Pat.
So even if they're just building in monsters, in monster sounds, it's still going to show them the graphemes, because we're always, we're always connecting it with those graphemes, always making it so that we're bringing the encoding and decoding together, because at the end of the day, we're teaching them to read and spell. So, that's what this kickstart is for. And the kickstart is has to be as fast as possible so they can move into implicit learning. Okay, so when we've got here, this is when they're writing it themselves. So what's this word? You might show it, and the child might write over the top of it. Check their letter formation. You might save it. Oh, look at that. Does that look the same as mine? Might rub it off. Might just use it as an example, as a way to check, say, can you code map this word for me? And that's when they are going to, oh, come on, any pencil will do. That's when they are going to do the duck hands, lines and numbers. Sorry, I didn't do my duck hands. T, at and tan, speech sound lines, speech sound numbers. So we're always focusing on mapping. I am the mapping queen. I love mapping. I'm obsessed with mapping. Phoneme mapping, which is why we've got the monsters. Grapheme mapping, which is what you probably think of with phonics, and with the code mapping where I'm showing the graphemes. Morpheme mapping, or leading to orthographic mapping, etc. Okay, so if we were to do the rap, let's say. So this is when they're sat, pat, tan, pan, tin, pin, ants, nan, pan, nip, zip, tip, pit, ants. Now, what we're forcing the children to do is not just look at first sound, sorry, that was duck hands. We're not just getting them to look at first sound. We're actually getting them to see the representation of the speech sound. So this is like phoneme mapping. This is code mapping. So this is like your phonics. So the children, to you, this all makes sense because sat, pat, tat, whatever. But actually, the children learn these monsters really quickly. Here, they've only got 6 monsters. So actually, if you're looking at the monsters and thinking, oh, that's confusing to my brain, well, that's what the children are thinking when they're looking at these parts. So the monsters are there because the children like them for confidence. And also, it's going to help them, as I say, later on when they've got, supposing they had, different words and they aren't the graphemes for those speech sounds. So the rap is really good because they go sat, pat, tan, pan, tan, pan, tin, pin, ants, etc. And it's timed. Oh, so I'm already on 8 seconds. The goal is to do it in 14 seconds. That's saying the rap, not necessarily the hands, although some of the children's hands are so fast they would be able to do it. So everyone has a rap with just the sound picks, just the sound picks in this particular level. Let me just show, see if I can show you. So like here, chicken, what I've done here is, you can see this is the it monster, this is the it monster, and the children will go, oh, hold on, but that's an E. Yes, because E could be another sound picture for the ear sound. Chicken, we don't say chicken, do we? And so what we're doing here already in this kickstart is introducing children to that concept of English orthography being opaque and a bit of a pain. Okay, so that's our sort of phonics. When we do our monsters, so these monsters,
E.
That's a phonetic symbol because lots of species use this. So, they'll see the phonetic symbol and whatever, because and they'll start to put the two together. So the speech sound monster. So the speech sound monster is the child's version. The children are interested in the monsters. The children aren't interested in the phonetic symbols. And also the phonetic symbols would not be something they could learn because they can't read yet. So they don't even know what regular letters look like or represent. So, but the monsters just show up for a split second, that phonetic symbol. But what we're doing here is we're getting children used to a sound value that doesn't map with a letter until it's in a word. And that, if you really understand how children learn to read and why so many children struggle, you'll understand why this is such a breakthrough.